Look, Bitcoin, you've heard of it, it's the internet's magic money. It was the original gangster of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin promised a decentralized financial future, a way to send value without banks. But here's the thing, Bitcoin, for all its fame and glory, is slow, painfully slow. We're talking about a system that can handle maybe 7 transactions per second. Your credit card company does thousands. And it's not just slow, it can also be expensive. Sending a small amount of Bitcoin can sometimes cost you a not-so-small amount in fees, especially when the network is busy. This is where something called Layer 2 solutions come into the picture. Think of them like express lanes alongside a congested highway. They take some of the traffic off the main Bitcoin blockchain, process it much faster and cheaper, and then sort of report back to the main chain. It's a way to get the benefits of Bitcoin's security without all the sluggishness and high tolls. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to Merlin Chain. Yes, Merlin, like the wizard, because in the world of crypto, if you're not naming your project after something mythical or vaguely futuristic, are you even trying? Alright, so Merlin Chain. As we've established, it's a Bitcoin Layer 2 solution. Layer 2 means it's built of Bitcoin. It doesn't want to replace Bitcoin. Merlin Chain is more like a new, energetic prime minister trying to get things done more efficiently, while the king, well, mostly just sits there being secure and occasionally volatile. Its primary job is to make Bitcoin transactions faster and cheaper. The main goal here is scalability. Scalability means the ability to handle a whole lot more users and transactions without the whole system grinding to a halt. Merlin Chain aims to be the network of sorting facilities and delivery drones that can actually cope with that increased load. It wants to allow many more transactions to happen without everyone having to wait ages or pay through the nose. But it's not just about speed and cost. Merlin Chain also has ambitions to bring more sophisticated financial applications to the Bitcoin ecosystem. We're talking about DeFi, or decentralized finance. Merlin Chain wants to enable these kinds of activities directly with Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related assets. Essentially, what Merlin Chain is trying to do is give Bitcoin a significant upgrade. It wants to add new features, new functionalities, and a whole lot more speed, all while leveraging Bitcoin's underlying security. Let's see if the magic is real or just smoke and mirrors. Okay, brace yourselves. We're about to dip our toes into the shallow end of the technical pool. How does Merlin Chain actually plan to achieve all this wonderful speed and efficiency? One of its key ingredients is something called ZK-Rollups. The idea behind ZK-Rollups is to bundle a large number of transactions together off the main Bitcoin blockchain. Merlin Chain processes them in batches on its own layer. Then it generates a kind of cryptographic proof. The zero-knowledge part means it can prove these transactions are valid without revealing all the details of each one. This summary, this proof, is then posted back to the Bitcoin main chain. Efficiency. Then we have decentralized oracle networks. In the blockchain world, oracles are services that feed external real-world data onto the blockchain. Merlin Chain uses decentralized oracles, meaning the data comes from multiple sources, making it hopefully more reliable and harder to tamper with. And finally, there are on-chain fraud proofs. If someone tries to submit a fraudulent transaction, these systems allow anyone to challenge it and prove the fraud on the main Bitcoin blockchain. Section 4, Merlin's feature list. What's under the hood, allegedly. So, what are the big selling points of Merlin Chain? What's on the box? First up, and we've hammered this point home already, is scalability. The ability to process a significantly higher number of transactions per second compared to Bitcoin's main layer. This means faster confirmation times for users, less of that agonizing wait wondering if your transaction has gone through or disappeared into the digital ether. This is crucial if Bitcoin is ever to be used for anything more than just large, infrequent transfers. Next on the list is interoperability. Interoperability means the ability for different blockchain systems to talk to each other and exchange information or assets seamlessly. Merlin Chain aims to be interoperable not just within the Bitcoin ecosystem but also with other blockchains. Security is another key feature Merlin Chain likes to talk about. It claims to inherit security from the main Bitcoin network. While Merlin Chain processes transactions on its own layer, the ultimate settlement and verification can rely on Bitcoin security. And finally, Merlin Chain offers robust support for Bitcoin native assets. This includes not just Bitcoin itself, BTC, but also newer types of assets that have emerged on the Bitcoin blockchain, like BRC20 tokens and ordinals. By providing a faster and cheaper environment, Merlin Chain aims to make these Bitcoin native assets more usable and tradable. Section 5. The MERL token. Yes, another token, but what's it for? Right, the token. Because in the grand casino of cryptocurrency, every new project, every new platform, every new Layer 2 solution absolutely have its own native token. And Merlin Chain is no exception, so say hello to the MERL token. It's the lifeblood, or so they claim, of the Merlin Chain ecosystem. But what does this magical MERL token actually? One of its primary functions is governance. Holders of the MERL token can vote on proposals related to the future development of the network, parameter changes, upgrades, and other important decisions. Then there's staking. Staking your MERL tokens means you lock them up in the network for a period of time. By staking, you contribute to the security and operation of the Merlin Chain. And in return for their service and for putting their tokens at risk, stakers are typically rewarded with more MERL tokens. And of course, the MERL token is used to pay for transaction fees on the Merlin Chain. These fees are generally expected to be much lower than on the Bitcoin mainnet, so MERL acts as the utility token that fuels the operations within the Merlin ecosystem. Section 6. Real-world shenanigans. What can you actually with Merlin Chain? So we've talked about how it works, its features, its token. But what about the actual, tangible use cases? What can you, an ordinary human or perhaps an extraordinarily adventurous crypto enthusiast, with Merlin Chain? First and foremost, Merlin Chain aims to supercharge decentralized finance, or DeFi, on Bitcoin. For a long time, Bitcoin has been seen primarily as digital gold, a store of value. But DeFi applications like lending, borrowing, decentralized exchanges, DEX, and yield farming have largely flourished on other blockchains like Ethereum. Merlin Chain wants to change that. By providing a faster, cheaper, and more scalable environment, it hopes to enable a vibrant DeFi ecosystem built directly on Bitcoin's foundation. Imagine borrowing against your Bitcoin, or lending it out to earn interest, or trading Bitcoin native assets seamlessly, all without leaving the Bitcoin ecosystem. Then there's the ever-exciting, sometimes baffling world of NFTs and gaming. Thanks to innovations like Ordinals and BRC20 tokens, NFTs have arrived on the Bitcoin blockchain, and Merlin Chain wants to make them more practical. Minting, trading, and using Bitcoin NFTs can be slow and expensive on Layer 1. Merlin Chain offers a Layer 2 solution where these activities can happen much more efficiently. And this, in turn, could open the door for more blockchain-based games to be built, leveraging Bitcoin's security. Finally, there's the crucial aspect of cross-chain interactions. Merlin Chain is designed to enhance Bitcoin's interoperability. Section 7. Peering into the crystal ball. Merlin's potential and the inevitable. So after all that, what's the big picture for Merlin Chain? What is its potential impact on the vast, sprawling, and often bewildering Bitcoin ecosystem? Well, if Merlin Chain delivers on its promises, and that's a significant if, as it always is in the world of tech, especially crypto tech, the impact could indeed be quite substantial. It's aiming to solve some very real, very persistent problems that have plagued Bitcoin for years. If Merlin Chain genuinely makes Bitcoin transactions faster and cheaper, and if it successfully enables a rich ecosystem of DeFi, NFTs, and gaming on Bitcoin, then it could unlock a tremendous amount of value. Bitcoin is by far the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, but a lot of that value is relatively static, just sitting there. By making Bitcoin more usable for a wider range of applications, Merlin Chain could transform it from just digital gold into a truly productive asset. Imagine a world where Bitcoin isn't just something you hold, but something you actively use for daily transactions, financial services, and digital experiences. It represents a significant advancement in blockchain technology, specifically for the Bitcoin network. For years, the narrative around Bitcoin has been dominated by its limitations in terms of scalability and programmability compared to newer blockchains. Projects like Merlin Chain are actively trying to change that narrative. They are building the infrastructure needed to expand Bitcoin's capabilities, to make it more versatile, and to keep it relevant in a rapidly evolving digital landscape. And you knew there was a but coming, didn't you? There's always a but in crypto. The path to success is fraught with challenges. Adoption is a huge one. Will developers build on Merlin Chain? Will users flock to its applications?